implementation assessment that we did, we also included a financial analysis in that. And so a little more specifics, we had 100 patients in each group. We case matched based on demographics, Charleston Comorbidity Index, as well as ICD-10 codes to identify them. We had a trough group and an AUC group. You can see the time frames there, and then our definition for acute kidney injury. So some of the interesting results we have, this was a student project that we presented a poster on at mid-year this past year. We had some interesting findings come out of this. Our AUC group had a little bit longer length of therapy there on average in those 100 patients, but number of dose changes tended to be fewer in those AUC groups. Troughs were actually in range more often than in the trough targeted group, which was ironic to find. We saw our average trough come down, which is reassuring to see. That's what you kind of would expect to happen when you implement AUC. But the big thing here, and this is beautiful, reduction in nephrotoxicity at our institution. We started off with 12% in that trough-based group, which is very similar to that 14% we saw in the MUE data, and we cut that down to 2% in this study with the AUC dose group. And this is huge. We saw a big patient safety impact, and that's exactly what we were shooting for when we implemented this. And so seeing those results is very reassuring and big time confidence building for our program. And then the other thing is the average cost per patient day is net neutral here. You're looking at about $16.50 for trough and $16.20 for AUC. So this was awesome and reassuring to see that we implemented with a net neutral impact on average daily costs for vancomycin dosing. So how did that translate to us financially at our institution? Well, first off, looking at the AKI rates we saw in the trough group, comparing that with the AUC group, we got 12 versus 2%, and that was statistically significant. So that was 6 times higher in the nephrotoxicity in our trough-based group. And you can see the estimated cost reductions here. And this is based on a study by Patel and colleagues published earlier this year. They found that a single dose of vancomycin-associated nephrotoxicity was an extra cost of about $8,000 when you considered specialist consultation, length of stay, and all the things associated with an AKI, especially if you get to the severe cases where dialysis is concerned. You know, so the impact at our institution is potentially massive right there. You're looking at about almost $2 million in net return just from the safety offsets. So this is a huge, huge number that we can consider. And I can assure you, it definitely offsets our Bayesian dosing budget. But let's say you don't remember, you don't actually believe that number. Let's say that AKI rate you think, or the AKI cost of $8,000 seems a little high to you. Let's cut that number in half. What if it's $4,000? If that's what every AKI costs your institution? Well, great. That's still $1 million in cost savings. Those are still very significant financial numbers. And we can do that math and we can keep going down over and over again, and it still proves to be very, very beneficial financially and completely can offset the cost of a Bayesian platform.